Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner coming to you with the DeKalb County Library System. And I'm going to start off by apologizing because I got a little boo-boo on my thumb. And you don't really realize how much you use your thumb until you can't use your thumb very well. So the tutorial that I'm going to do today is super simple, very easy, and hey, but it's still going to be really pretty. And who doesn't want every once in a while something that you can just kind of whip up in 45 minutes and wear? So that's what we're doing today. It's going to be very pretty. I know it's very pretty, but I've kind of had this on the back burner simply because it was so simple. And I thought, people are going to think this is too easy. But honestly, I've been getting comments about, yes, some of them are very challenging. So this may be a little bit of a relief for you. Anyway, it's going to be very pretty. It's going to be really super simple and easy to wear with just about anything. You usually see me using a lot of spirals and beads and things like that. And today it's all about simplicity and elegance. So let's go down here to the camera and let's get started, because really all we're going to need are our usual pliers, our round nose chain or a square nose pliers, and a pair of cutters, and we're going to be using square wire because we're going to twist it. I've discovered the joy of twisting wire. It's going to be a challenge with this, I know, because some of it I've already twisted. I've only reserved one piece to twist on camera so that you won't have to listen to me go ouch, 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 all the way through. So we're going to use some square wire. I'm using 22 gauge. We'll need some jump rings and some end clips because we are going to dangle our centerpiece from leather. So we'll also need a length of leather cord, the length that you choose. I'm going with, I think I have 18 inches because I didn't want it to be super, super long, because I want to make sure, 18 inches, because I wanted to make sure that my centerpiece shows in a good spot. So I've gotten into festooning, and this is basically what this is too, except that we're using wire instead of chain, which I've been using prior to this. But I'm not even going to comment on the fact that I did that again. Okay, so let's get back to it. Go away. Oh my gosh. It was, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Anyway, being very persistent. The DeKalb County Library, now you know. All right, here we are. Let's get down to it. Please ignore my Band-Aid. I had it off to try to work and I kept stabbing myself. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. I have I'm going to be using 3 pieces of square wire, and the size of the wire depends on the size of the little hoops that you want to make. So what I've done is cut 3 pieces of wire. These 2 are already twisted, and I've cut them just a length of, you can make them 1.5 to 2 inches larger or smaller. So my longest one is 10.5 inches. The next longest, 8.5 inches, and the smallest is 6.5 inches. And then what I'm going to do is wrap them around the cylindrical item. You don't even need to do that. You can just shape them with your fingers. And then we're going to dangle those 3 lengths from our cord. Let's get started so it'll make a little bit more sense when we get going. The first thing that I'm going to do is twist my wire. Again, these 2 have already been twisted, if you can see that on camera. So I'm going to show you how to twist your wire without having to use some fancy schmancy gadget. So the thing that you want to do is take your square wire, put a little bend in the wire so I have something to hold it with. And then I'm going to take my flat pliers. You can either use your chain nose pliers, or if you have some flatter pliers, you can use that. And I'm going to hold my wire on the looped side. Just going to hold that on my looped side. And then I'm going to take the other side and grab it with my square pliers and twist. I don't know if you can hear that knocking sound. One of my neighbors is obviously doing laundry, and at least that's what it sounds like. I guess their washing machine is off balance. But anyway, we're just going to grab it with my square pliers, and I'm going to twist it until I get it to the place that I want to stop. I don't know if you can see the progress being made as I twist. Yeah, you can see it. Or at least I can see it in the camera. And you can either do long twists like that, or you can just do little short twists. Just open it between each twist, rotate your pliers, and continue. And you really don't have to grip it too tightly because it's square, it's got 4 sides, so it's easy to hold on to. And you just keep twisting until you get it where you want it. Until you don't want to twist anymore, and you want to, I'm using 22. Did I say the size before? I'm using 22 gauge square wire. It doesn't sound like very strong, but once you've manipulated it like this, it gets very, very strong. I made this bracelet. I made this little charm out of some twisted 22 gauge wire, and it is really hard to bend because you've manipulated it to the point. Get back on there. You've manipulated it to the point that it's very, very strong. And now another way you can do this, I've just been using this hand. You can actually use both hands to twist if you want it to go a little faster. And if you really want to go fast, you can use one of those gadgets, or you can use what is it? It's a hand thing where you drill. You can use a drill if you have one, but I'm trying to show you how to do it manually so you don't have to go out and buy something for something that you may not do that often. This way, you can just do it by hand, and you don't have to buy something extra that you have to store or figure out a use for other than twisting some wire every once in a while. This works just fine. Thank you very much. Takes a little more time, but it's worth it in the end. And you'll be glad you did it. Okay, so I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Neat, huh? Let's give it a few more twists. Just because I can. And it's not hurting my thumb. I was afraid it was gonna really be worse than it is, but I did the other two without my Band-Aid on it. It was not fun at all. This time I have a little pad on my thumb, and it's not bad. Get it in here. See if I can get a tight twist. Yeah, there we go. I think that's good. Ooh, nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so there's my twisted link. And I'm going to cut off the ends that I don't need, that I use to twist. So this little end here, I want to make sure it doesn't go flying across the room, never to be seen again unless I'm walking around barefoot. And then ouchie, ouchie, another ouchie. I'm going to turn this down into this little well, clip it off. And there it is. It lands right in there where I want it. Okay, so there's my little twisted piece of wire. So now let's let the fun begin. Now it's a matter of shaping it. So I'm going to take my shortest piece. Yeah, let me shape my shortest piece. And what I'm going to use, you can use a cylindrical item to just get it started, or you can shape it with your fingers. It's completely up to you how you do it. I'm going to use one of these little containers just to get it going, because I find that to be easy, makes it a lot easier. And then I can reshape it after I get my circle done. So I'm just wrapping it around this container like so. And then I'm going to go to the next largest container, and I'm probably going to have to open these up because this is just random. These are just random items that I'm using for shaping purposes, just to get it going. Just wrap it around my little container here. So there's the second one. And the biggest one, wrap around this big container. That wrapped around there. And one way that you can keep this back here from sticking straight out like that, you can take a little hammer, kind of hammer it down so that it conforms, or you can use your fingers and shape it that way. At least I got it started with my little cylindrical item, my little containers. So now I can get it shaped. Get that going a little bit tighter. Okay, so there's 1, 2, and 3. And this is what I'm going to simply dangle from my cord. This has kind of been a project that I've been wanting to try out for a while, just to see how it would look. And now you get to be on the receiving end of that question mark to help me see. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is put on my little one. And all I need to do is make a loop on each side with my round nose pliers. I'm going to take my round nose pliers and go right here to the end of my wire. I'm going to slide the wire down almost to the back of my pliers because I want to make a nice loop on here. So slide it back to the near the back. Make sure that the end is not sticking out. And I'm going to make a nice little loop. Notice how I'm making it along the same direction as the bend in my wire. So there's one loop. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Take it almost to the back of my pliers, and if you want to kind of check to see where you should go on the back of your pliers, stick that one loop in there and then place the other side of the wire in the same spot. Again, you don't want anything sticking out the back. Make my loop. And you just want the end to meet the back of your the back of your wire, like that. See how that's going to go? And let's go to the next one. We're going to do the same thing. Slide back to near the back of your pliers. Make sure no wire is sticking out from between the two clamps. Make my loop. Sure it's closed, nice and tight. Same thing on the other side. And if you find your loops kind of opening, don't worry. We've just started the shaping process, and you can go back and do more shaping later. Okay, make my loop. Close it up. There's number 2. And let's do the last one. I'm definitely gonna make this one a little tighter. I'll do that in a minute. Okay. Again, I'm going to go back to about the same place on my pliers, check my wire ends, make sure they're not sticking up, rotate my pliers until I have a closed loop. There we go. Let's go to the other side. Oh, kilter. There we go. Go to the other side and do the same thing, same process. Wire near the back. No wire sticking out from between the clamps of my pliers, and make my loop. Nice. So there's my third one. Oh, I think that's going to be really pretty. Oh, it's going to extend from my, yeah. All right, so I want to make this a little closer together, just a little. So now is where you'd start shaping it with your fingers. And you decide on how round you want it to be. Just give it a little shaping. My second one, let's bring that in a bit. I'm just bringing my loops together. Shape it that way. and number 3. Bring my loops together. Just give it a little shaping. Okay, there they are. So now I'm going to take my little hammer and just make sure this is not popping up anywhere. And now it's a matter of just attaching it to my leather. And that's where my jump rings come in. So you can see we're just going to have a nice little 3-hooped dangle. We're continuing our festooning that I've been doing for the last few pieces that I've done. I kind of get on a little roll and I like things and I keep doing it. Okay, so let's go ahead and attach it. So all I need is my jump rings. For that. But the first thing I think I'm going to do is make my ends. And that's very simple. All we need for that are these little fold over end clamps. It's just a tri-fold. We've got 2 folds on each side, 1 fold on each side, and then one that folds down over the leather. So we're going to slide our leather right there in between these brackets right here. I'm just going to slide it in. And what I like to do is take my fingers, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do today. I like to fold one side. I start folding it down on both sides before I even get the leather in there good. So I'm holding it on the back side with one finger, and then I'm holding the leather cord with my thumb, and I'm just going to push down on both sides of my little brackets until it's closed down over the leather cord, like so. Did I do that right? I did not. Sorry, I did it wrong. Okay, this goes first. So I'm going to open that back up. Easy fix, easy peasy. Hope I don't mess up my nails too much. Not that they're in that great shape anyway. Okay. Everybody says, I love when you mess it up because it makes you seem more human. Oh, it just makes me feel stupid. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take this little guy. I think that goes down first. And then those wrap over it. Isn't that right? Yes. Getting my cord situated in here. Okay, so I fold this down, this long length down over my cord, like so. And then I fold the outsides down over that long edge. I was going to say, I thought it was a little different the last time I used these things. Okay, hold that in. I'm on camera here. Yeah, there we go. Hold that in. Squeeze that down on one side and squeeze it down on the other side. Telling you, proper use of thumb is becoming very apparent because I can't use my thumb the way I would like to be able to use it. Can't feel things the way I'd like to be able to feel them. Okay, there we go. Squeeze that down. Up. Let's do it again. All right. Sliding in my wire, push down my center. And I want to make sure that my cord is nicely centered. I also need to make sure that the end is not blocking this little loop up here at the top. Push that down, squeeze it nice and tight. Over my cord. And fold the ends in. One side, the other side. There we go. These big ones. And squeeze it nice and flat. Okay, make sure it's in there nice and good. There we go. I need another one of these, guys. Hold on just a second. I'll be right back to get another one. Just in case I make another boo-boo, I just brought out the entire bag. So there. All right. Go to the other side. Go. Yes. Put my cord in. Make sure it's not extended out beyond my little loop because that's where my jump ring is going to go. So I'm sliding that in there like so. Folding this down over it. I'm going to push it down nice and tight. And it's better if you're going to squeeze it to use your flat pliers, because if you use the round pliers, you're going to put a little dent. in there, and you don't want that. So now I've got that clamped just enough to hold it in place. And now I'm going to fold down the ends. Here's another way that I can do it. I can fold down the ends just a little bit while I'm holding my cord in place with the initial folded piece. And then I can fold it down the rest of the way, one side at a time. One side and the other side. And then give it a good squeeze. Test it, make sure it's nice and snug. Good. There we go. There's my ends. Good. Now we're going to attach our focal. And I'm just going to go down here. So because we're using jump rings, you don't have to worry about it being too crazy centered, because it's going to, you can adjust it once you get it on there. But as you can see, this is what we're going for. 3 little loops. Okay, proper way to open some jump rings. Find the little opening in your jump ring. Try not to drop it on the floor. Grab one side of your jump ring, just hold on to one side of your jump ring with your square pliers or a pair of pliers, and then you can take your thumb on the other side and just push down. And it's open. Nice and easy. And you want to always open your jump rings that way. You never want to pull them apart, because you'll ruin the circle, the shape of your jump ring if you do. So that is one way that you can open your jump rings. I'm just going to continue opening. The other way that you can open your jump rings is to, wow, these are really strong. Nice. You don't have to worry about anything happening like them opening when I don't want them to. Take your pliers and grab one side of your jump ring. Take a second pair of pliers, go to the other side of your jump ring and twist. It has the same effect. It opens it up nicely and cleanly. And there you go. Pliers on one side, pliers on the other side, and twist. I'm missing one. There it is. Get over here. Pliers on each side and twist. Couldn't be simpler. And now we're going to attach. take my jump ring, attach it to the smallest link, and attach that to my leather. And close it up. And you can close your jump ring the same way you opened it. You can either use 2 pairs of pliers, or you can use 1 pair of pliers and your fingers, or if you have really strong fingers, you can just use your fingers. So that's one side. Let's do the other side. Close it. Here's one. This one requires a little more shaping. And this is very, very strong now because of all of the manipulation that I've been doing with it. Shape it a little bit more. Okay, so now my next jump ring also goes in, oops, to the second one. And the second one, second loop, attaches to my little loop. So I've strung it through my one side of my next largest loop, and in the little loop of the small loop. Now I'm going to close it up. Okay, there's one side. Let's go to the other side. Put my jump ring through my next largest loop, and then string that on the other side of my small loop. And close. Oops, come on. Piece that together so it won't come out. Oh, come on, don't do this. Have a little compassion on the fact that I'm on camera and this is humiliating. Okay, close that up. There we go. I see a little teeny tiny opening in between the back of my loop and the wire, so let's close that up. Okay, so there's my second one attached. Isn't that pretty? Okay, third one. And you really don't have to use your pliers to do this. I'm using the pliers because I think it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. I'm closing this up nice and tight. Yeah. So I think it's easier for you to see what I'm doing if I use the pliers. But you can also just use your fingers. Just slide your jump ring through the large hoop and then do, and again through the loop of the second hoop. So we're just attaching them to themselves. That in there and close it up. Nice and tight. Go to the other side and do the same thing. And again, we're just sliding my jump ring through the loop of the large hoop and then through the loop of the second largest hoop and close. There it is. Isn't that neat? And it's so simple. It could be easier. There it is. Now, all I need to do is put my jump rings on the back. So I'm going to put a jump ring and a lobster claw on one side. Close my jump ring. And a jump ring on the other side. Oops, get in there. And close it up. Yeah. And we have a necklace. I mean, what could be easier than this? Now, you know, as much as I love very simple things, I also love beads. So if you so desire, you can leave it like this. This is perfectly fine. Where's a display I can put this on so you can see what it actually looks like? I mean, that is very pretty. Very pretty. But if you want some beads on it, you can also do that. I mean, why not? Why not hang a couple of little jasper beads on there or something? You can put them there. You can put them, dangle them here. Let's do that. Okay. So I'm going to take some 24 gauge wire, and this is an option. You don't have to have beads if you don't want to. But I'm just going to take some 24 gauge wire. I'm just going to measure out maybe 3-4 inches because I'm just going to use a couple of these little jasper beads, I think down the center. Do I want them on the center? Or do I want them on the side? Yeah, let's just do it right down the center. So I'm going to get a couple of these little jasper cubes that I've been looking at and like and think they're pretty. And I'm just going to let them dangle right down the middle. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it. Now I can just use a pen and put it on there, but you know, I have to do something fancy schmancy. So I'm going to put a few beads on here to see how much wire I need because I'm going to make we're going to make our own head pin here. So I need to know how much wire I need just for the beads themselves. Ooh, this is a pretty one. Do I want to use all of these or just some of these? That is the question. What do you think? Should I put them all down? Oh yeah, it got to all go down there. So what the easiest way to determine how much you need is to put your beads on. This is about an inch worth of beads. And then we're going to make a knotted head pin. Just put a little knot at the bottom, and then we're going to wrap the top. So what I'm going to do is just use a little 24 gauge of wire, just regular wire. And I'm going to give myself at least a good inch to an inch and a half on one side, and then 2 inches on the other side in order to make my knot. So I just want to have about 4 inches, I'd say 3.5, 4 inches would be plenty. And then what we're going to do is, okay, so I want to take my round pliers and I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down my pliers with my wire. And I'm just going to start making a loop. I'm going to make a loop and I'm going to continue to wrap up 3 times so I can make myself a nice knot. So that's 1, 2, 3 times. And then I'm going to turn my wire up like that. And I'm going to bend the tail of my wire around until I can put the end back through the little loop that I have here. So there's my little loop. I want to feed my wire back through that little loop and pull it nice and tight. And I'm going to need my pliers because, again, thumb. Just going to pull it until I have a nice little knot on the end. Here we go. So now I've just got this nice little knot. And if you want it to be even bigger, you can put it through there again. You want even more of a knot. But 1 time is plenty. It just depends on what you're looking for. Put it through there again. Let's just see what I get. And because I can see I have a lot of extra wire, so why not make a bigger knot? Okay, yeah. There. So there's my little knot. And let's just feed my beads on. What do I want on here first? Let's start with this one. See what that looks like. It's up to you how you put them on. My little knot is part of the design. And let's go with this nice bright green one. Let's go with this one. Pretty. It's nice. Look at this one. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't feel that coming, or I would have stopped the tape so you didn't have to hear me sneeze, but that's okay. Yeah, let's put one more on. What do you think? Yeah. Should I put this other one on? I think 5 will do it. That is nice. I like it. So now we're going to make a wrapped loop. So again, I'm going to go about, a third of the way down my pliers, actually a little closer to half because I need to get it over my leather. So I'm going to go just not quite halfway down my pliers. All pliers are not created equal, so it just depends on the size of the little clamps of your pliers as far as how far down you want to go. So I'm going to wrap the tail of my pliers, my wire over my pliers. I'm going to rotate my pliers until they're horizontal on top and bring my wire around until I have an open loop, like so. And then I'm going to slide it onto my leather. Just slide my leather cord inside my loop. Oops, get in there. There we go. And let's wrap that around. And close it up. I'm going to move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to hold on to my loop. Don't squeeze your loop, because if you do, you're going to end up putting a little indentation in it. Or you can use your square pliers and you don't have to worry about possibly putting a dent in your wire. And then I'm just going to wrap this tail around several times until my loop is closed up. And depending on the look that you want, I have a nice little cap on top here, which I like. See how my little wrap made a little cap on top of my bead? Very organic looking. And then I'm going to just clip off the end. And I find my clippers. And tuck that tail nice and close to my wire so that there's no sticky points. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the necklace. Isn't that great? I love it. So easy, so simple, so pretty. And I think it's very, very elegant. You can pretty much wear this little guy with anything. Let's put it on a display and see what it looks like. Okay, there's a close-up, and there it is. There's our piece. We have a new statement piece. I wasn't really thinking this would end up being what could be considered a statement piece, but this definitely is. I really love it. It's so simple. Don't you just love this? And you can do pretty much anything you want with it. You can do it without the beads. Isn't that pretty? Or you can add beads like I did, because I just couldn't help myself. So you can add the beads. You can do any color cord you want, but I wanted the centerpiece to be the focus. I wanted everybody to be able to focus on that and not what's happening with your chain or cord. If you do something fancy, I remember one time I was asking somebody, I said, I want to figure out what to do with the chain. And they said, why do anything? You want that to be your focus right there. And if you bedazzle the chain, then it's kind of hard to figure out where to look. You have two things that not at war with each other, but just vying for attention. So this way, my focal piece is what's going on right down here, which is exactly what I wanted. This came out so much better than I wasn't sure how it would look. And now I know. I will be making this in other colors, probably other shapes. Can you just imagine this with 3 triangles or with a circle and a triangle and a circle? Oh, the possibilities are endless. Those of you who are getting kids, you're going to have lots of fun, because what I'm going to give you the wire to twist. I'm going to put in different, each kit is probably going to have a different color of cord in there. So it just depends on what color you get. And you're going to get some jasper beads or some, well, whatever little beads I want to give you. And you can decide whether or not you want to put beads on there, or if you want to leave it nice and clean with just the wire and the leather. Entirely up to you. But well, I'm going to give you some stone beads, and you can decide from there where you want to go with it. Anyway, that's our piece for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll make one. And if you do, please post it on the library Facebook page, or send it to me at jewelrygen20. I don't know why I always stumble over that. jewelrygen20@gmail.com. That's JEWELRY. Can't spell. JEWELRYGIN20@gmail.com. If you want to send me the picture, I'll post it on the library Facebook page, and everybody can see your brilliance. But anyway, I hope you'll do this. And if you liked it, let us know. If you have any questions, also let us know. You can post it on the Facebook page, or you can send me an email and ask me any questions that you want to ask. And hopefully I'll be able to answer them. And I think that's it. Until next time, have a good week, good weekend, and we will see you later.